Hey, it's Roberto with Full Curl Precision again. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Uh, Been kind of a crazy weekend, but that's okay. All part of life, do more things than just simply crunch numbers and go over things. But I just wanted to do a video tonight, kind of illustrating the differences that you'll find between my cartridge that I'm working on and designing and your like standard 270. And people have their questions, so I'm here to answer it. And so what I did was I was able to get my data into the Gordon's Reloading Tool app and calculated everything and basically set my max pressures at 65,000 psi. So no different than a lot of other cartridges. Still operating within those max pressures, and wanted to illustrate the difference in that the wider range of bullets that mine can use and utilize compared to a standard 270. And this is where it gets really interesting. And so I'm going to turn the camera around, and I wrote down a little chart just to show the types of powders, the powder charge, and two different barrel lengths, and what you can kind of expect if you were to buy a rifle in this. Once things get going, I know it's still preliminary. There's a lot to do with this, but at the same time, or building it, and what you can expect. And so, again, the barrel lengths I go with are ones that would be more common, more realistic, not too difficult to carry in the field. And so those two barrel lengths are 22 and 24. 24, excuse me. And so the four bullet weights I went with are standard 130 grain, a 140 grain, a 150 grain, and a 170 grain. It's actually in here, the Berger EOL. So here we go. So going with, again, this is so two different barrel lengths, and the powder that seems to work really well in a certain weight range, and I'm trying to achieve max velocity. And this fills in two kind of things. I'm looking to get as close to a 100% fill rate and also to a 100% burn rate out of both lengths of barrels. And so I've gotten both of these. I'm not trying to go excessive overcharging, so I don't want to go into something that's going to be like 106% of the case capacity. That's a little excessive. 101, 102 you can get away with because it's based upon your powder reservoir, and then exceeding into that is going to be like into your shouldering. I don't want to go anything that's going to go past that much. I don't want to keep the powder out of the neck. So here we go. A 130 grain AccuBond with a 22-inch barrel gets you 3163 feet per second and 2888 foot-pounds. 24-inch barrel gets you this, 3238 feet per second and 3038 foot-pounds. Here's the thing. That's right in the wheelhouse of 270 WSM. It's pretty common for an average factory loading with the 270 WSM to be pushing about 3250 feet per second to 3275 feet per second. And that's, operating safely. And again, these are operating safely. I'm not pushing it right at 65,000. This is like at 63,000 PSI, like right in that range. But yeah, that's a really fast projectile, and it's doing so out of a smaller case, and it's also doing it with less cost because of the parent casing being a standard 270. It's easier to make this brass. 270 WSM and 6.8 Western are quite pricey, so there's that. Here we go. 140 grain AccuBond, 3061 feet per second, 2914 foot-pounds. That's out of a 22-inch barrel. 24-inch barrel, 3133 feet per second, 3051 foot-pounds. For a 140 grain bullet, that's moving. That's right in there with, again, with the 270 WSM. 3100 to 3150 out of a 24-inch barrel is pretty common with a 270 WSM. I think it's the 145 grain ELDX is like 3100, something like that, 3100 feet per second. So yeah, this is right in that same general wheelhouse as far as capabilities. Okay, 150 grain AccuBond long range. 60.6 grains of the Ramshot Hunter. And by the way, these all use the Ramshot Hunter. 22-inch barrel, 2964. I'm getting like 2950, about 2950 feet per second with my standard 270 with the same weight bullet out of a 24-inch barrel. So this has the capability of pushing that same kind of velocities out of a shorter barrel with this load. And that gives you 26 foot-pounds. 24-inch barrel, 30 feet per second, and 59 foot-pounds. That's really good. And mind you, this is based upon numbers at sea level with a standard 6-groove barrel. I'm not at sea level, and I'm using a 5R barrel. And 5R barrels are faster than your standard 6. And the reason is because having one less groove allows you a little bit better velocities. So these are just general guidelines for now of what the computer is spitting out. I kind of anticipate getting a little bit better velocities than this. So yeah, there's that. And then there's the 170 grain Burger EOL. Something that you're really not going to find in a standard 270. It doesn't have the lead or the throat, the lands. It's not a fast enough standard twist rate to really stabilize these really well. This is not something you're going to find in a 270 Winchester. You're just not. 22-inch barrel, you got 2831 feet per second and 3027 foot-pounds. 24-inch barrel, 2900 feet per second and 3176 foot-pounds. You got to realize something when it comes to this particular load that's actually really interesting, because that's 61 grains of IMR 7828 SSC. Is this 2800 to 2850 feet per second is a lot of factory 150 grain offerings in a standard 270. This is pushing a 170 grain bullet at the same velocities that a standard 150 grain out of a 270 Winchester is doing. That says a lot. And I mean, that's really good. And this is also a really high BC bullet, a G1 of 0.662. And again, 2,900 feet per second out of a 24-inch barrel. That's going to be really fast. That's right up there with, again, with the 6.8 Western. It's definitely a really good projectile. I mean, shoot, here's a reference. If you look up the data on the Winchester Expedition Long Range box ammunition, it uses the 150 grain Nosler AccuBond Long Range. But they advertise that weight bullet at that velocity out of a 24-inch barrel. So that should give you an idea of what my cartridge design is really capable of doing. It should let you know that this is definitely a worthwhile investment, because it is literally going to be in the same price points as far as overall cost to load, but it's going to produce a wider variety of weights. And by the way, that's just what's in the computer. I'm also going up to, let me turn the camera back around. I'm going to be going with 130s all the way up to 175. And I even found some Woodley 180 grain bonded soft points. So yeah, this isn't stopping at 175. This is going all the way up to 180 grain bullet. And I measured them. I tightened the tolerances on my lead and my throat to, instead of 2.78 to 277. So a tighter tolerance. Because here's the interesting thing too. I've measured all my bullets diameters and even the Woodley bullets, and they're all at a diameter of 0.2755. So I'm tightening up the tolerances so that way my groupings are going to be considerably tighter. Excuse me. So yes, it's not only just a matter of better hunting opportunities for this having a wider variety. It's also going to be what this can do in terms of overall tolerances. So it should be tighter. Therefore, the groups should also be tighter, more consistent. Yeah, I'm really excited to see what this is going to happen and how this is going to work out. I'm going to be finishing getting up the tooling, paying for the tooling this week. But that's in the process of being built. And yeah, looking forward to really, really getting this going and getting it done. The next project, like I said, is to take my Bergara B14 Ridge and rebarrel it. And I'm hoping if everything works out as I'm hoping for, I'll be able to make my rifling pattern and get it pulled through a barrel. PacNor has agreed to do this so I can do a proof of concept. But if my concept works as I'm hoping, your same length of barrel, regardless of the cartridge, will achieve 100 to 125 feet per second faster with good stability and accuracy. So the goal is, again, let me turn these back around. So if I can achieve that with the rifling and I can get better velocities yet, out of a load like this, you could be looking at, instead of 32-38 out of a 24-inch barrel, you could be looking at 33-38 out of that same 24-inch barrel. Yeah, making it an absolute screamer. And then this, by changing the rifling on it, going from 2,900 feet per second to 3,000 feet per second with this, with less recoil, less overall cost. The entire idea is to shake up because honestly, it needs it. It really needs it. So I appreciate all the support. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, hit that notification bell. I appreciate all the support, and we'll talk to you again.